ES Audio.
Hi, I'm John Weeks, and this is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, a new test developed for a deadly Asian bat virus. First, though, the UK Space Agency spending £1.6 million on a series of new projects, including plans for visiting the moon.
It really is an exciting time, and I think especially for the UK at the moment, because the way moon exploration is opening up, we do have an opportunity to really have some niche areas of real British excellence.
Andrew Koo is Exploration Technology Manager at the Space Agency. He told us one of the projects being backed is all about developing a new system to do biological experiments in space.
It's so different being in space on just a fundamental level. The absence of gravity is the obvious one, right? But also the radiation environment, the extreme vacuum that you have in space. There's so much weird about being in space because we've grown up and evolved on Earth. To actually be able to study those fundamental biological mechanisms outside of Earth can be really valuable.
The focus around the moon has largely been prompted by NASA's upcoming Artemis mission to send astronauts back to the lunar surface for the first time in around 50 years. But Andrew said the UK Space Agency is actually setting its long-term target a bit further afield.
So our kind of nominal endpoint as an agency when we're planning missions and so forth is humans on the surface of Mars. So a lot of the developments and the investments in technology and in science that we make are kind of heading towards that as a nominal endpoint.
Now, it looks like so-called spy balloons are back on the agenda. Britain's understood to have signed a £100 million US research deal into stratospheric uncrewed air systems. It follows the shooting down of a Chinese balloon after it floated over sensitive US military sites earlier this year. The Ministry of Defence has confirmed it's been testing balloons in the Arizona desert to fly it up to 80,000 feet over hostile states. Researchers in Australia have developed a simple dipstick test to screen for a highly infectious, potentially deadly virus transmitted by bats to humans and pigs in Asia. Nipah virus was first identified in Malaysia in 1999, where it was linked with an outbreak of respiratory and neurological disease in pigs, with transmission to humans resulting in brain inflammation and deaths. In humans, 40 to 75% of cases are fatal. The research, led by the University of the Sunshine Coast, shows a simple lateral flow dipstick showed a final result, similar to a COVID test. Japan has suffered a blow to its latest space launch after being forced to blow up its new rocket due to a last-minute failure. The country's flagship H3 rocket was given a self-destruct command when its second stage engine failed just minutes after liftoff. The H3 is the first medium-lift rocket designed by Japan in 30 years and has been designed as a cheaper alternative to SpaceX's Falcon 9 for launching satellites into orbit. There's a warning that students taking part in copycat TikTok-inspired protests at schools will face disciplinary action. According to the Association of School and College Leaders, there's been a trend of students posting abusive material online about staff and displaying disorderly behaviour during school protests. The union says it's had a number of reports of student protests held at schools across the country, and most are connected to uniforms or toilet use. Jeff Barton, General Secretary of the ASCL, said the trend appears to have spread through students posting content on TikTok, leading to copycat protests at other schools. Coming up, how plants' stress memory fights off bugs, and why beavers give a damn about chill time too. Why not hit follow and give us a rating during the break? Welcome back. A study suggests recording plants' DNA to improve their stress memory so their leaves taste bad might help crops fend off attacks by bugs and cut the need for pesticides. Scientists at the University of Sheffield say they've analysed how plants build and store immune responses, and making them a less attractive dining option would be a good way to beat hungry caterpillars. The study, published in Nature Plants, investigated the effects of the plant stress hormone jasmonic acid on thale cress, a relative to cabbage and mustard. It's thought this knowledge could help us select crop varieties for food production that are primed to fight off pests and diseases. London space scientist Maggie Aderin-Pocock is being celebrated as a custom Barbie doll. Islington's Dr. Aderin-Pocock, who presents the BBC's The Sky at Night, joins ex-YouTube boss Susan Wojcicki in getting their own one-off doll to mark International Women's Day and British Science Week. So, what accessories does her doll come with? Well, a cosmic dress plus a telescope, of course. But toy manufacturer Mattel is missing a trick when it comes to actually celebrating women in science, as Dr. Aderin-Pocock's Barbie won't go on sale. And finally, they say for us humans the work-life balance is critical, and it appears the same applies for beavers. Staff at Newhouse Wildlife Rescue in Chelmsford, Massachusetts have noticed how an orphaned beaver called Nibby takes toy breaks from her natural work, building dams. Despite never having seen another beaver, Nibby just can't stop dam construction, using sticks, even indoors and without any water. Nibby's being trained for future release at the rescue centre after being found at just a week old by the side of a busy road. You're up to date. Come back at 4 o'clock for the Leader podcast for the latest news and analysis from the Evening Standard. We will be back tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. See you then.